Hi guys, welcome to Let's Create. Today I wanted to talk about this little labyrinth that I've made and printed. So I went into Blender. Well, actually, this is how I made this piece. I went into, I found an image of a classical labyrinth, and I imported it in. I opened it in Gimp, and it was just a black and white image, and I selected the black path from the image, and I converted that into an SVG, or into a path, and then into an SVG file, and I exported that out of Gimp, and I imported that into Blender, and I made a cube in Blender that was 2 millimeters thick. I think it was 2 millimeters thick. And I added some added some subdivisions into that cube, and I added a subdivision modifier to give it a little bit more softness. And then I imported the SVG file, and I scaled it down to fit on top of my cube here. And I selected the edges of my cube and I brought them up. I transformed the SVG path. I converted that to a mesh, and I extruded that along the Z-axis, and I added a solidify modifier in that to give it some width, and I laid that on top of my cube and exported that into Cura, and it sliced up beautifully and it printed beautifully. And then I've gone ahead and painted them, and I've learned some things while I've painted. So I got a set of some nice metallic paint, and I really like how the metallic paint is turning out. But what I've learned while I've been painting them, anybody could have probably told me this, and I knew before I started, but I should have put a base coat of white primer on them, because it's just been a little bit tricky. I don't know if you can see, I've had to put several coats on, and I'm gonna have to put another coat of paint on that. But if I put a coat of white primer on them first, I think that will help. And then next, I'm just about to go out. So this is the brush that I've been using for the fine detail, and it's not fine enough. So I'm gonna go get a new paintbrush so I can do that detail nice and accurate. And then we're gonna get a shiny gloss coat for the outside of them, or maybe a matte finish. And yeah, and so those are my labyrinths. Okay, I also have some other labyrinths, and they're a little bit of a work in progress. So I took I believe it was a 7 circuit medieval labyrinth, and I did the same process by taking the image, bringing it into GIMP, transferring it to an SVG file, into a path, and importing it into Blender and giving it some depth and putting it on a cube. But as you can see, it's quite an intricate design to be made so small, and it had some problems. And again, with this print I had a lot of stringing. I've definitely had some better, less stringier prints, but I had a lot of stringing problems with that one. And so I redid it, and I tried to make some alterations with it, and it's getting a bit better. And this is it, even a bit bigger. So what I've done, as I've scaled them bigger, I've kept that 2 millimeter depth on them, so they're still fairly thin and light. But the nice thing about this filament is that it's wood until you can sand it. And so what I've done is I've used some wood filler and gone in and started to fill up some of the little holes that were left in there. And then, as you can see, here's a bigger print of that classical labyrinth, or the Crete labyrinth. And then we've got this one. This is just one that was done, it's kind of the reverse image, or the invert of that image. And I like how this one looks, but it's certainly a lot harder to follow the path because you're following a raised path rather than a divot type. You're following a convex path rather than a concave path. So I definitely, when I am following a finger labyrinth, prefer that convex path. The other thing that I am working on is when you have a little finger labyrinth that's small, you kind of want something, a pointer stick, to be able to follow along the path. So I found this pencil, and I kind of used the pencil to work towards designing a little stylus pointer. However, I ran into a few problems. Just printing this straight up, this is as high as I could get it. And I have it designed to have a nice little point, but the point didn't print. So this is a work in progress, and I'm still working at it. But this actually works not too bad without a point. But I am definitely gonna work towards the design and editing it so it has a nice point and can follow these lines all the way around. And once I get my labyrinths all finished and painted nice and have the process a bit more streamlined, I'm going to put them on Etsy and sell them. And so you'll get the little labyrinths and a little stylus pen. And once I have that all set up, I will leave a link in the description below if you're interested in a little finger labyrinth. And I think that is just about all for this video. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time. Bye. Okay, I'm back to talk about my labyrinths that I'm doing, give you a little bit of an update. I've gone to Michael's and I found this acrylic sealer. And I got really lucky that it was on for $5.99, so I ended up getting 3 bottles of it. I probably didn't need 3 bottles of it, but you never know. And I got some wood stain to try. So we'll see how that goes. And I got a assorted grit package of sandpaper. And then I got some E6000 industrial strength adhesive, just because with attaching 3D printed parts, I thought that could come in handy. And so these are my supplies, and I will show you the final product once I'm done. This video may go out before my final product is done, but I'll do a follow-up video once it's done. But I just wanted to show you what I got at Michael's for the project. See you next time.